Hello and welcome back, everyone. This is Scootsy16 for some more Super Mega Baseball 4. And as you can see, we are here in the Super Mega Legend League. The last time we left off, the Windy City Thunderbolts completed their shuffle draft, and we're ready to get the season started. We did do some looking at the free agent pool, and I did star a couple of players that I'm interested in switching out. So I'm going to show off who I want and who I want to replace them with, but know that none of these players are currently ready to be signed because they're asking for way more than they're worth. So I'll go through these and let you know who I plan to replace. So I know this one's going to be a little tricky, and I hope I can end up managing to get her, but I'd like to pull in Alana Lantana. And to replace, I'm going to be taking out Marv Knockmore. I like that specialist trait, but 39 years old, and not that great of a pitcher. That's kind of a bit of a concern for me, and I'd like to boost the bullpen up if I can. So I'd like to aim to get Lantana, really great pitcher, and would be a huge boost to the bullpen. Next, as we go, the other one I've identified is Kara Pickles. Kara here would be replacing our starting shortstop right now, which is Arsenio Cardenas. I don't mind Arsenio, but he is older. Kara is 22. And when I was looking at some of the chemistry options, this was the tinkering that I did to help make sure that we could get ourselves up to three competitive players. So you'll see it all form together. And as you can see, she's better than Arsenio in every way except for speed, and I'm okay with that. And then she's got a good outside pitch trait, which we would be maxing out, plus a tier 2 first pitch slayer. So that's the option at shortstop. Next, you see David Stiffbottom here. He's a starting pitcher. He would be coming in to replace Hiro Misano. Would be an upgrade in that department, and our rotation would look a little bit better. I'd feel more confident about them. And Hero does not, or I'm sorry, Stiff Bottom does not have any traits, and he's a worse accurate pitcher, but he does have better velocity and junk. So that was the option there. Next, we have Elroy Action. He would be coming in as a backup, and he would be replacing Rick Burleson. So another older dude. He's not terrible, but I wanted to try and focus on making sure I could get all my traits maxed out that I wanted. And while we are replacing Elroy or bringing in Elroy to replace Rick Burleson, I want to also keep Camden Gilmore because he's a bit younger and has RBI Hero, which I want to max out. So that's the reasoning behind that decision. And then the last one that we want to bring in is Cash Basket. She is going to help us put that competitive characteristic up to 3 in our chemistry for the team. So once she comes on, she's coming in to replace Pumper Lumpkins. Even though he has the contact versus left-hander maxed out, he's not a good player. And Cash Basket, I kind of want to groom to be who would replace Spitz McKinney once his talent starts to fade. And as you can see, Cash, well, she doesn't have much power. She does have some good contact, decent speed and fielding, and a good arm. And she has both maxed out power versus left-handers and contact versus left-handing. So looking forward to bringing her in. If you look at the current value of all of the players, it looks like David Stiffbottom is going to be the first one we see coming in. So we have some tinkering to do, and it's going to make the chemistry really wonky for the first few games. But with all of that being said, it's time for us to get into the first game of the season. So we are going to simulate the first few games and bring us to the Waikiki Wideloads versus the Windy City Thunderbolts. So let's go ahead and sim. I'm gonna sim through all of these quickly just to get us to where our game starts. And then we're gonna go ahead and watch this one together. So this matchup would be a maxed out K collector for Ace Von Asen versus a maxed out composed for Nick Dieguez for the Thunderbolts. So Going to be an interesting matchup, and we're going to go ahead and watch this one. And I did set the lineup before we left. Prince Chavez in center. It's going to be leading off. Got that power versus left-hander, which will not be active. Will be active in this matchup. And he has that Steeler trait, which we're going to hope he gets into RBI position for Spitz McKinney, who has RBI hero in that second spot. David Ortiz, Beef McStevens, or Beefcake McStevens. These two are just big boppers right there in the heart of our order. Maxed out traits. This is going to be where the core of our production is going to come from. If they don't mop anything up, then we have Camden Gilmore there with his RBI hero. Then we have Hank Hart coming in. He has first pitch Slayer maxed out right, or first pitch Prayer, excuse me, maxed out right now. Unfortunately, we have Justin Morneau here, then Arsenio Cardenas and Aria Combs to round out the order. So let's go ahead and get started. I am going to lead off with our primary home jersey for this first game, and we'll see how it goes. Now, for this commentary, I'll do my best to kind of comment as we go, but I'm not going to try and do this like a true baseball game. It's not where my expertise is, so we'll work through this together, and would love any feedback that any of you have regarding how it all sounds and how it all goes after this video is over. So starting off, we are home, and we're facing off against the Wideloads, who are kicking things off with Chuck Knobloch. Has some good contact, has that maxed out rally starter as well, but it's not currently active. And he has Wild Thrower, which we're hoping to take advantage of today. And just missed that one down the line, and we got 2-2. Go into a full count. Composed kicks in, and it hits the top left corner, and called looking for strike 3 on Chuck Knobloch. And here comes Sloop Whoopity, another second baseman. I don't even know where Chuck Knobloch was playing for that one. I don't know if he's the DH or if he was in a different spot, but Sloop's in, another rally starter. Fighting off a pitch there. We got ball 3, and Composed is activated again. And we got another full count. At this pace, it doesn't look like Dieguez is going to be able to make it last, but he just gets out number 2 here. And here comes Bloop Michaels, who has maxed out. That's 3 players in a row that have rally starter. Really interesting setup for this team. He also has bad ball hitter, so we're hoping he does not activate that trait in this at bat. Big hitter. That's a big threat for them. Swings through strike 2. We got a 2-2 count with 2 outs. Fouls 1 out. And he pops it up. Who's going to get that one? We see Morneau ranging out there. He doesn't have the speed, but he got to that one. Aria was really slow to get over there, and that just made me really worried. And maybe we need to look at a better right fielder. But here comes Prince Chavez. That maxed power versus left-handed pitcher. This is a maxed out trait, but I don't think the power and contact versus lefties or righties is that valuable of a trait, in my opinion. I just don't think it has that big of an impact, but he just pokes one between first and second for a base hit, and that's the first hit of the Thunderbolt franchise, and the first hit of this this entire game so far. So what we planned is, well, that's not what we wanted. Broken bat, shatters, and the ball drops right in front of the plate for out number 1, but the runner advances to second as he was stealing on that pitch. And here comes Big Poppy. Low pitch activated here, and swings at 1, fouls off. We still did not get to see what that Steeler trait looks like on Chavez. And Big Poppy pokes one. Sloop barely manages to get to it and gets the out at first. And the runner advances to third, but we are down to 2 outs. And here comes power versus lefty for Beefcake, which happy to see it activated, and he puts a charge into that one. I think that's enough. That's going to get out of here, and Beefcake does exactly what we signed him in the first round to do, which is to put the ball out of the park. And that was a Hito moonshot right there, but strikes that one into the crowd, and we have our first runs of the franchise. 2-run homer for Beefcake McStevens, and we're up 2-0 in the first inning. Here comes Camden Gilmore, does not get to activate his RBI hero trait. He fouls out, and 2 strikes, and K Collector gets activated, which is really intimidating, and he swings through that one for strike 3, but we did get 2 on the board on that Beefcake home run, and that's a good start to the series so far. Hesto Stanley with a maxed out first pitch slayer, and I'm hoping that Nick Dieguez is going to do what he did last inning, which is, again, throw balls. And there's a line shot to right center field, and Chavez gets to it quickly. Can they get the ball in time? Very close play, but not in time, and that's a leadoff double in the second inning. Carney Lansford up. He's going to be their third baseman for the day. Has inside pitch. This Wideloads team is very interesting. It looks like they've maxed out their spirited and their competitive traits. And I've seen a lot of spirited so far. I think only 2 competitive traits. And that ball lofted out into right center field. He's trying to take it to third, and he's going to get there. And that advances the runner. Now we have 1 out, and Nimbus Pearson comes up. Nothing activated in the traits so far, but does have tough out if it comes to 2 strikes, which after a strike and a foul there are, and maxed out tough out puts them at... They had all the contact in the world. They still swung and missed on that one, which always confuses me. Here comes Laney Beck, their 7th hitter in the center field spot. Good speed, but not much of a hitter, and grounds out to Gilmore for out number 3. And we strand a runner on third base, which, after a leadoff double, is pretty successful inning, I'd say. All right, so Hank Hart comes in. He does have first pitch prayer, which makes him abysmal in the offensive department. But if we can just take a good strike here, and he does, puts him in a better position, and he tags that one, but it might not get, and it does not. It's warning track power there, and Beck is able to run it down in right center field for out number 1. Starting first baseman here, Justin Morneau. The tandem with Big Poppy there at first, former Twins. And we're hoping to see some success out of him over his career. He lines that one to shortstop, and we're down to 2 outs. And here comes Arsenio Cardenas. Has that durable trait. It's at minimum boost, and I don't necessarily... Maybe I take it for granted. I love it on a catcher, but I just don't see it's valuable on much of anybody else. Let me know in the comments if you see value there that I might not be aware of. Fight off a couple of pitches, but swings through that one for strike 3, and we go down quietly that inning. And it's the 8-9-1 hitters for the Wideloads, starting with Julian Hugh, who has a lot of power, but not much contact or speed. So we'll see what this matchup looks like. It might have been the first at-bat that Dieguez throws a strike on the first pitch. And 1, 2, 3 strikes, and you're out there. We move on to Keith Hernandez, who has maxed out contact versus right-handed pitcher, but not activated. And I'm surprised to see him in the 9 spot in the order. I don't know if this is kind of one of those little wraparound strategies that sometimes teams implement, but he pops it just outside of the batter's box, and Hart gets that one for out number out number 2, excuse me. And Chuck Knobloch is playing left field for the Wideloads. And he lines that one just down the third base line, fair, but McKinney is able to get to that quick enough to hold him to a single there. And somehow, while Dieguez has been pitching really well, he just lost some mojo because of that one. Oh, I think he might have been in locked in mojo, so he went back to neutral. There's a foul for strike 1. A pickoff to first. Checking the runner, trying to hold him. Now Hart has a good arm, but Knobloch is faster. Ooh, and just like that, lined out to Morneau for out number 3. And we go to the bottom of the third. Aria gets her first at-bat. She does have a maxed out inside pitch trait, which we hope we can activate here, as she is probably our weakest hitter in the lineup, and maybe one of the weakest hitters on the team. She's got a tall task ahead of her trying to face off against Ace Von Asen, who has K Collector activated here. And she does give that one a ride, and it gets down right in front of Lainey Beck for a base hit to lead off the third inning. And she's holding her own there at the bottom of the order. And here we come with Prince Chavez wrapping back to the top of the order. He singled to center field. Or I'm sorry, he singled between first and second last at bat. Fouls that one off. Fouls the second off, and there's K Collector activated again. And he's fighting these pitches off. We're really trying to make Ace work for these outs. He takes ball 1 way outside and low. And there's a good pitch that Chavez just gave for a ride, and that's where power versus left-hander gets activated, and he puts that one out over the right field wall. And that's our second home run of the game and the franchise, and our second 2-run homer. So really great start on offense for the Thunderbolts, especially against a great pitcher like Ace Von Asen. And he did that with K Collector activated, which we've been doing a really good job of fending that off during this game so far. McKinney spits a little draggler. I don't even know what I was saying there. he grounds one to first base for an easy out there. And here comes David Ortiz again. Low pitch activated. 1 out. He's just smiling at Ace. And Keith Hernandez with a dive. And he grabs that one in the air for out number 2. Here comes Beefcake. He left a beefcake for the fans that last at bat. And he pulls that one, but not nearly as much as last time. And Chuck Knobloch is able to run that down for out number 3. So another good inning for the Thunderbolts. And Dieguez is coasting, but he does have, again, another... he has to face off against Bloop Michaels here. And now those rally starters are starting to kick in. So Bloop's contact is completely maxed out. Has that bad ball hitter trait. And we're quickly up to 1-2 count. And really slow move from Beefcake on that one. I think that's where we see that lower defense kind of backfire. But ground ball just past the third baseline, and Bloop is on with a single. And again, he does have some good speed. We see ball 1 from Dieguez, which is strategic with that first pitch slayer trait. Arias ranging over, jumps up, and not enough room as that ball goes into the stands for a foul. 2-1. Is Bloop going to try and steal a base here against Hank Hart? And he puts that one in the outside corner for out number 2. Here comes Carney. Carney Lansford, 0 for 1 on the day. I'm sorry, out number 1. That was the first out of the inning. Another check-in on Bloop and making sure he's staying close to the bag. 1-1, 1 out. Foul off for a strike 2. 2-2 count here. And another foul. Fighting off of another pitch here. They're really trying to wreck his. And bloop goes. Hank throws down. It's not in time. That was a very close play. Great throw from Hank Hart, but it was not in time. And there's a ground ball to left field for another base hit. And Bloop Michaels heads over to third on that one. So we have first and third with only one out. And while Dieguez was in locked-in mode, he is back down to neutral once again. And we hope that we can... And that's not going to do it. And that is just enough to get over the fence. And just like that, this game is very close once again. Pearson puts one out over the right field wall. 3-run shot. And this ball game is very close once again. 4-3 in the top of the fourth. We have a lot of game left. Laney Beck comes up and fouls off right away. Ground straight to Dieguez, who is now tense. Throws over to first for out number 2. Let's see if we can get that mojo in check. Dieguez needs to settle down. He's getting some of those first day jitters. And Beefcake tosses across the diamond for out number 3. But the damage was dealt there. 3-run shot from Pearson, and we head to the bottom of the fourth, and it's a 4-3 ball game. And this offense is going to have to keep pushing on the gas if they're going to want to hold off the Wideloads in this one. In the fourth inning, Ace just threw his 41st pitch, so he's still doing okay, but it doesn't look like he's going to go too deep into this ball game based on his current trajectory. And just like that, out number 1, another strikeout for Ace. Hank Hart comes up, 0 for 1. Again, has that first pitch prayer, which I'm hoping to try and mitigate here pretty soon. It's definitely debilitating strike for that first easy strike 1 for the opposing pitcher. And he gets that one off the end of the bat, and it just hangs up there for Beck for out number 2 on a fly out to center. Justin Morneau has yet to get his first hit. He he lined out to shortstop last time, and I'm eating my words with how quickly Ace is working through this offense right now. But Morneau gets his first hit of the game and the franchise, and we have one on with 2 outs, and we're hoping that the bottom of the order can do some damage here. And a good poke, but right to Nimbus Pearson for out number 3. And we still have a lot of game left, and Nick Dieguez, who's been doing well, threw one big mistake, and it really cost him. So we're heading to the wraparound here, 9-1-2. And just like that, first pitch, Keith Hernandez is able to get down the left field line for an easy stand-up double. Slides for showboating reasons, I'm assuming. And Dieguez needs to settle. Rally starter does not get activated here, as even though they are still down, they have a runner on at this point, and it might have backfired on him. Now Beefcake calls it off. That's a lazy pop-up right in front of the third base bag for out number 1, and the runner does have to stay. And again, Rally starter does not get activated with a runner on base. So this might have been a saving grace for us, even though that was a leadoff double. And Sloop gets a good charge into that one, but it's still enough for Chavez to get that one, and it's deep enough to move the runner to third base. So 2 outs, but we have a runner on third base, and Bloop Michaels is up there, number 3 hitter, their best hitter, bad ball hitter activated, swings through a high pitch for strike 1. Lobs another curveball in for strike 2, and almost got him to chase on that one. Can we take control here, Dieguez? Foul there. 2-2 count with 2 outs. Another pop-up. pop foul. And there's a lazy pop-up. Beefcake ranges out, finds it, sitting right under it, calls everybody off. Out number 3. A leadoff double does nothing, and really great recovery for Dieguez on that one. Now, for some reason, I thought that Ace has already thrown like multiple strikeouts. He's had 3. I thought that number was higher, but we're happy to be able to kind of rough them up a little bit, and I hope that continues here. We're in the bottom of the 5th now. 9-1-2 for the Thunderbolts, and just like that, we're into the top of the order. Combs grounds out to second for a 4-3 put out. Next up is Prince Chavez, who is locked in. Takes 2 quick balls. Takes a strike on the inside corner. We're in a hitter's count here. And that one, he gets under it, and the shortstop calls the left fielder off from left field for out number 2 there. And Spitz McKinney comes up, who is 0-2. Let's hope he can find a hole here and get his first hit. Swings at a low ball for strike 1. Another ball. Another low pitch here. He goes the other way. Another hitter count here. And another ball that just misses the barrel. And Beck gets under it for out number 3. Quick inning for Ace Van Asen in that one. This one's got me nervous. Opening day. This is what you're looking for on opening day. An exciting matchup, right? And it remains to be seen what team is going to be, good at the end of the season here, and which teams are going to be successful. But a good way to start this series. I hope you're all enjoying this one so far. Dieguez is still finding his spots, and he catches him looking for strike 3 for the first out of the 6th inning. Carney Lansford up 1-for-2 with a single today. Dieguez is being very deliberate with his pitches. He's been kind of, wildly effective. Cardenas dives for that one, but can't get it over there in time. And they're able to stretch that into a single, an infield single, with 1 out here. And in comes Kendra Kerr. The decision by the manager is that Dieguez's day is done. He had, again, a wildly effective day, but so many pitches did not allow him to get too much further into this game. And Kendra Kerr gets a quick out number 2 after 2 pitches on a little pop-up behind second base, and the runner has to stay at first. Lainey Beck's 0-for-2 today. Hasn't really done much, and she doesn't really have the attributes to do much, but we don't want to rule anybody out. Kendra Kerr is probably one of the strongest relief pitchers in our bullpen here. Beefcake with a nice dive, gets the ball over, but not nearly in time, and that's the 2nd infield single for the Wideloads in this inning. They might be the Wideloads, but they're not pulling Wideloads on the way to first. We want to get Kendra out of this one. We got 2 outs, but 2 on first and second here. And just like that, strike 3. Hugh is not happy, but Kendra Kerr is able to get out of that jam. Not one that she put herself into, but Ace Van Asen is still out there for the Wideloads in the bottom of the 6th. And here comes Big Poppy, who is 0-for-2 today. Has yet to find... And just like that, quick first pitch ground out to third for out number 1. And there was some weird little movement there from third and short that kind of had me a little confused. I thought we were going to get a wild throw from them bumping into each other, but unfortunately it didn't happen. Let's see if Beefcake can keep the offense alive. And whoa, quick inside pitch there, almost too far inside as Beefcake had to dive out of the way. Quickly we're at a 3-1 count, and Beefcake gets a high pitch and tags it, but Beck has the speed to chase it down, and that's out number 2. Just like that, we went through our 3 and 4 hitters, unfortunately quicker than we would like. This is Ace's 71st pitch, and Gilmore grounds just past the pitcher. Bloop, wild throw, launches that one into the dugout. Hope everyone's okay. I don't know if that was a warning shot to the Thunderbolt dugout or what, but on the wild throw out of play, Gilmore gets to go to second base, and let's see if we can capitalize on this. Hank swings at the first pitch, gets that one to land right in front of Beck, and Gilmore's on his way, and he scores. That's our 5th run of the game, and a wild throw from their star, Bloop Michaels. We're able to capitalize. Hank Hart comes through with an RBI base hit. I don't know actually if that counts as an RBI because of the error. So we'll keep an eye out for that at the end when we're looking at the stats. I know that gets a little fuzzy when we're talking errors and things like that. So let's see if we can keep the pressure on here with Justin Morneau. He's 1 for 2 on the day, and he fouls that one off right down the line. Takes ball 2. We're really working the Asen pitch count up. He's at 81 now in the 6th inning. And Morneau just keeps fighting off those pitches. Another foul. 2-2 count. Another foul with K Collector activated. Oh my goodness, what an at-bat for Morneau here. He's fighting to stay alive on a ball that he just barely made contact with. You'll have to let me know how many pitches this at-bat was. And he bloops that one to Bloop Michaels for out number 3, but he was able to make Asen fight for that out. And Kendra Kerr comes back in. Keith Hernandez comes up. He did get a double in his last at-bat down the third baseline. And he now gets contact versus right-handed pitchers activated. Quickly down 0-2. He gets a hold of that one. Can McKinney get to it? Yes, he can for out number 1. Here comes the first of 3 consecutive rally starters, and we'll see if they're able to all have them activated. I would hope that that's the case, meaning that they are getting out. And Gilmore throws to throws to first for out number 2. And the second rally starter comes up with Sloop Whoopity up 0 for 3 today. 2 outs. Fouls off the first pitch here. Takes low ball 1. Gets a hold of that one, but not nearly enough power in that bat, and Combs gets it for out number 3, and another pretty solid inning for Kendra Kerr in her first outing of the season so far. I don't know how long Ace Von Asen's going to stay in this game, but he's still going at this point at 89 pitches. Stamina's getting real low, but they feel they can trust him. And just like that, we get K Collector activated. And Cardenas is able to fight that one off. 1-2 count here. A looping high ball here. And swings through that one for strike number 1. And Ace has still got the confidence at the very least. He's still moving those pitches where he wants to move them. And just like that, that was his last at-bat. Here comes Signblinder, who has the maxed out rally stopper trait, but is not currently activated. Now, Sign really needs to rely on that rally stopper trait because he is not that skilled as a pitcher. Does have some decent junk, below average velocity or accuracy, and Combs, our number 9 hitter. She heard me make a comment about her not being the best batter in the lineup, and she pokes that one out for her first home run. And I'm hoping I see this a lot this season with some big boppers in the lineup, but not them being the ones we have to rely on for the success of this lineup and this team. We're back to the top of the order. Prince Chavez, up to bat, swings through that pitch for out number 2, and Sign Blinder is showing off his talents too. Spit's 0 for 3 today. The Thunderbolts have started to lengthen the gap a little bit. They're up 6-3 in the bottom of the 7th, and Spitz gets his first career hit of this franchise for a single into the left field corner. And here comes David Ortiz. Still 0 for 3, waiting to get his first hit of the game. Does have that low pitch activated. Swings through a low and outside pitch for strike 1. Makes some contact and fouls for strike 2. And makes him look silly. Really wild curveball there on the inside that David just tried to put some contact on, but completely missed it, and his mojo is feeling it because of that. Another rally starter opportunity for Bloop Michaels. Swings at the first pitch, goes foul. There's strike number 2 in the top half of the plate. There's another high one for ball 1. And that one loops right in. Bloop's not happy about it, but it was there. He's got to feel pretty silly about that one. And Kendra Kerr is having a pretty solid day today. Only about 20 pitches in. Yep, 20 pitches, and she's feeling it. She's locked in right now. Facing off against Stanley, who swings at a inside pitch for strike 2. Makes contact for a foul. Barely makes contact on that pitch out of the zone. Ooh, put it almost in the same spot, and he did not chase after that one, but grounds out to first on the next pitch. An easy out, number 2. 3 unassisted on that one. Carney Lansford's having a good day, 2 for 3 with 2 singles. That inside pitch might be doing some of that work for him. Takes strike number 1. Takes that one outside for ball. Swings at an inside pitch that goes foul. And can Kendra finish this one off? Swings and miss for strike 3. The inning is over. Kendra is cruising. And we're up 6-3 going into the bottom of the 8th with Beefcake McStevens, Camden Gilmore, and I don't remember who the third batter was in the lineup there. Beef having a solid day with that home run earlier in the first inning. And wow, tags that one. That's bouncing off the back wall. That bounced off the whacker's wheel. And Beefcake leaves another beefcake for the fans. A 432-foot moonshot to right field there. So he's gone to both fields, left and right, for his 2 home runs today. That was a solo shot. And we go up 7-3. Here comes Camden Gilmore. Having a bit of a tough day at the plate. Has yet to have that RBI hero activated. Fights that one off, and we're at a full count. And fouls off another. Takes ball 4 high and inside. And he gets his first time feeling first base there. Hank Hart had a RBI single. It does count as an RBI last at bat. Ooh, he takes a ball that he deked a bunt for, and the runner's able to advance. That got away from Hugh, the catcher. He pops that one up to center field, and the runner has to retreat. Out number 1, but we can consider that similar to a sacrifice fly, right? So we have a runner on second, 1 out. Justin Morneau comes up 1 for 3 today. Love to get some development on him, maybe a trade or 2 that can help him out as we go through this season in this franchise. Sign Blinder's really feeling it. He's getting gassed. He's tense. He's at 29 pitches. Doesn't have much left in the tank here, but he's fighting through it. And Morneau gets a hold of that one, but it's right to Knobloch in left field on the line. The runner has to stay at second, and a tense Arsenio Cardenas is coming up 0 for 3 today. The pressure is starting to increase. And now we see that they have completely neglected their scholarly traits. As Cardenas, that'll adjust the mojo as he lines one to right for another home run, a 388-foot shot. And that's a 2-run shot, and his mojo gets boosted after that one. So that's really nice to see as well. This team is really firing on all cylinders. They're striking in the right spots here. Aria Combs 2 for 3 today, having herself a game with a home run. She's feeling it. She's locked in. And wow, that pitch just caught the corner for strike 3 and out number 3. And we head to the top of the 9th, and we have a safe cushion here, 9-3. We just need 3 more outs. Let's see if Kendra Kerr is going to stay in there. She is. She's at 32 pitches, just past half her stamina here. About 1/3 left, and after a couple of pitches, they get a base hit up the middle. And is that it for Kerr? Here comes Lainey Beck, 1 for 3 with a single today. Kerr is going to stay out there. She is locked in still. Throws a nice strike 1 there. And a ground ball to short, over to Gilmore. Not enough to get to first in time. And I heard comments around the weak arm at second base, and there it was biting me in the butt as we're not able to turn 2. We do get the first out, trade places with the first runner, and Hugh is up. He's had a really tough day at the plate, and he swings through that one for strike 3. That really low contact is a big problem for him. Here comes Keith Hernandez. Again, contact versus right-hander activated. 2 outs here. Can he help their team stay alive? 2 quick balls for Hernandez. Gets him to make contact with that one and throws a quick strike 2, and we're 1 strike away. And that one goes just foul down the third baseline. Kerr throws it right in the perfect spot. Hernandez is not happy, but that's the ball game. The Windy City Thunderbolts, in their first game of the franchise, get their first win at home at Whackers Wheel. That was a fun game. Let's take a look at some of the numbers here. The Wideloads, 3 runs on 9 hits. It was all on that 1 home run. And they had 1 error. Blue Michaels threw one into the dugout. Just wild throw there for that error. And it ended up costing them an extra run here. The Thunderbolts, 9 runs on 10 hits, no errors. They had some consistent offense throughout this entire game, and it was really fun to watch. For the Wideloads, they had some good days from Lansford and Pearson, who was the only effective offense, hitting that 3-run homer. 9 hits overall across their team, but 2 batters with 2 hits each. Lots of strikeouts for them, 10 total strikeouts for the Wideloads on offense. Looking over at the Thunderbolts, this team looked really great, and we didn't even have our best hitter doing anything, as David Ortiz went 0 for 4 with a strikeout. But luckily, this is where Beefcake McStevens steps in and says, hey, bud, if you're struggling, I'll help you out. 2 home runs, 3 RBIs in 4 at-bats, and that's a really great game from him. We also saw Prince Chavez do what he should be doing in the leadoff spot, 2 hits, got a home run, 2 RBIs. He did strike out once. Gilmore, without that RBI hero activated, he's starting. We can see some holes in his game. He did get a walk, but also struck out twice. I think he also reached on that error, so that's why you see he only has 3 at bats there. Never mind. I'm sorry. That's why you don't see an extra hit there. Hank Hart got an RBI on that error. You also see Cardanius and Combs, the bottom of our order, putting up some production as they both get a home run there. Looking at the pitching production, Ace Funason does walk away with the loss as he did go 6 1/3 innings, giving up 6 hits and 4 earned runs, struck out 4 and gave up 2 home runs. Every pitcher for the Wideloads gave up at least 1 home run here. For the Thunderbolts, Dieguez had a good first outing here as our ace. He gets the win going 5 1/3 inning. He just threw a lot of pitches today. He gave up 7 hits and 3 earned runs. That was on the home run. He struck out 5. And Kendra Kerr, what a lights out appearance for her. She gets the save, 3 2/3 inning. 2 hits, 5 strikeouts, and gets the save. Your player of the game is Beefcake McStevens with his 2 home runs. Nives Pearson got that 3-run shot, and Prince Chavez also had a home run, 2 RBIs on that one as well. So, what a great showing for the Thunderbolts. With the time that we have left here, what I wanted to do was sim a few games and see if we can work to get one of those players we were eyeballing. So I'm going to check out the valuations here, or the difference, and we see that Stiff Bottom's 0.9 million. I want to get him closer to that 7.6. So we're going to sim a few games here and then maybe take a look at some player development. I usually take the strategy of simming about 10 games and then checking in on everything. So we're going to go ahead and sim through 10 full games. We're going to skip through the second game of the Wideloads. We're going to miss the Crocodons, the Rakers, the Boomers, and the Grapplers. Let's actually see who's in our division. I need to get familiar with this. Okay, so the Packers, the Green Bay Grapplers, the Rockford Rivets, the Mama Tanks, and the Hot Corners. So let's do this. Let's just sim until we get to the Green Bay Grapplers. So we'll sim 9 games here. And next episode, we will watch the first divisional matchup against the Green Bay Grapplers. So I'm going to go ahead and sim these games. I'm going to skip through this. We're going to take a look after we sim through what the results look like. And wow, we chose the best game to watch as we went 3-6 through those 9 games, and since we won the first game, we went 2-6 over the next 8. And just peeking at the schedule to figure out what the heck happened. Excuse me, we ended up losing our next game against the Wideloads before we split with the Crocs. We split with the Rakers, and then we got swept by the Brooklyn Boomers. And boy, did they live up to their name on that one. They beat us 14-0, 2-1, and then 16-3. So a lot to figure out with this team. We have a lot to learn. Quickly scrolling through the current opportunities and seeing that we're going to have some player development options. And good to see this now, but Alana Lantana gets a bad habit and drops to an A from an A+, gaining the Surrounded trait. Now, the good news is that I'm planning to have Spirited maxed out, so I will take a look and determine whether Surrounded is going to be worth still having on the team as a limited bad trait, or if we're going to look to find a different relief pitcher option, which I'll probably figure out in the between games here. Beefcake with an opportunity for player development. Same with David Ortiz. Same with Marv Knockmore. We do have a random positive roll as Camden Gilmore gets +4 power, so that'll be helpful. We can take a look and see what their success was. And David Stiffbottom, who we're planning to sign, just got +2 velocity as well. So let's take a look and see where his valuation looks. And he's at +2 right now. So I think this is worth him signing right now. And even though he's +2 over his current value, I think that's worth it. Now, the problem with this is that eventually all of our or all of our chemistry will be in the right spot. Right now, we will be dropping to tier 2 for our discipline traits. That will affect David Ortiz low pitch, Beefcake's high pitch, which we saw kick in there in that first game. This will affect Aria Combs' inside pitch and Nick Diega's composed, which I'm not too worried about his composed with his already high accuracy. I think at this point I am going to go ahead and just make the call on this one. So we're going to go ahead and replace Hiro Misano with David Stiffbottom, which is going to be an increase on our salary, but we can afford it right now. And we will continue to make adjustments to the roster to hopefully boost some of our talent even more as we go through this season. So quick peek at the team to see if we had anything positive come out of that. Prince struggling after that first game, being successful as he has not hit a home run since. Spitz McKinney having a really rough start to the year. Same with David Ortiz. Beefcake, he's really doing well. Camden, 2 hits on the season so far. That's not good to see. We do plan to... We might replace him directly. I'll look into that in between episodes. Hank having a rough season. Justin Mordeau doing pretty well. Arsenio Cardenas is looking good. And Aria surprising us at the bottom of the order there. Pitching-wise, Nick is doing all right, but not what we'd like to see out of our ace. Cecil not doing much better. Coyle having a rough start to the season, 6 1/3 in his 2 starts. Something doesn't seem right there. I wonder if he got injured. And then we just replaced our Misano, so we did not get to see what he was doing. And it doesn't look like Coyle got injured, so he just may not have been pitching well. I'll quick peek at Misano for pitching just to see what he did so far. He, of course, he was our best pitcher of the 4 starters to kick this off. So maybe it was a mistake. Sorry about the glitching there. I'm probably gonna have to restart the game after this one, but I don't know. Maybe we'll end up bringing him back later if we're not going to see anything more successful out of Coyle Marshall. But last thing I'll do before we finish up here is take a look at the player development, which we do have quite a bit of money to use. So I'll be pretty liberal with this to kick things off because I also feel like we're not going to have as much later on. I'm going to ignore this one for Kendrick Kerr. We're not going to give you the chance for K Neglector. Cecil Sawyer gets a chance for some more accuracy, which he needs, and as well gets a good chance for elite cut fastball. Nice to have him get another trait. Digit Swingin's too old. I'm not really going to look into develop players that aren't really going to be around for very long. Beefcake getting an opportunity to increase his arm and a quick little bump to his power. I like to see that. David Ortiz, I don't think it's necessary to give that +1 power. And then Marv Knockmore, a chance to gain easy jumps when we're already planning to replace him, and he's old. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go for the 1 for Cecil Sawyer and this 1 for Beefcake McStevens. We're starting here because if he gets the extra arm, great. If he doesn't, I'm okay without it. And he does not get the extra arm. So +2 arm, +1 power, and a little boost to the loyalty there. We will like to see Beefcake get as much development as possible, as he's still only 27. All right, this 1 for Cecil Sawyer. He gets that plus accuracy, +1 contact, which means nothing. Junk goes down a little bit. No extra boost to the accuracy, and we do not get that extra trait either. So rough swing of the chance for flip of the coin for Cecil Sawyer, but we'll take a little incremental development as he gets +4 accuracy there. So that's all I have for all of you today. Thank you so much for tuning in. Again, this is new to me, so give me any feedback, any thoughts, any questions, any comments you have in the comment section. And also check out the description, as I will be putting the link to the playlist so that you can always continue to check back in and get updates on the videos as I post them. So we'll talk to you all later. We'll see you all next time. Have a good one, everyone.